I want to start with something that I didn't think I would have to say out loud. Inside what I informally call Escape Skool, my tone can feel a little aloof, objective, direct, unemotional, and that's intentional. It's not because I don't care. It's because I care enough not to interfere with the structure. When you step into Escape Skool and start stacking your days in the Act Score Challenge, you're stepping into a micro-reality I built after a lot of thought and planning. A training environment. A place where the rules are stable, the consequences are consistent, and the responsibility is always yours. My role inside that environment isn't to cheerlead or soothe. It's to act as the architect of the conditions you train in. I'm not there to wrap the medicine in bacon. I'm there to make the medicine work. That means the structure has to stay clean. Hey there, it's me, Core, and you're listening to Exercising Self-Control, from fitness to flourishing. In the real world, structure is everywhere. Gravity doesn't care how you feel about falling. Deadlines don't care how motivated you are. Consequences don't pause because you had a hard day. Life is full of systems you didn't choose, rules you didn't write, and outcomes you can't negotiate. Escape Skool mirrors that reality, but in a controlled, low-stakes way. It's a simulation, a micro-reality, a place where you can practice exercising self-control without the cost of real-world failure. And inside that micro-reality, daily posting is mandatory. Part of the reason is that I need to be able to confirm your consistency. Daily posting is a simple way to ensure you're following through so I can give you access to the upgrades, bonuses, and level up options you've earned. Just like in the real world, there are consequences for the choices you make. When you're consistent with your standard of excellence, they are to your benefit. When you're inconsistent, there are lessons to be learned. Another part of the reason is that follow-through is part of the standard. You set the standard. You choose the behavior. You decide the difficulty. And once you commit, the structure holds you to it. That's the part that reflects reality. Self-control isn't just doing the work. Self-control is doing the work and closing the loop. Effort without follow-through is potential without reality. Sometimes you'll live your standard and forget to post or lose internet access. In other words, you'll do the right thing and still get reset to zero. And yes, that can feel harsh, but that's the point. It's a micro version of what happens in real life. You can do everything right and still fail. The question then isn't, is that fair? The right question is always, what do I do now? Do you quit because the consequence felt unfair? Or do you stay committed to the standard you chose? That's the strength we're training. Escape Skool is intentionally simple. The minimum standard is 2 minutes for the behavior you commit to doing. Your level might be 1, 2, 3, or higher. Your total work time might be as low as 2 minutes to as high as 6 minutes or more. But the minimum for each separate behavior stays that low on purpose. If 2 minutes feels like too much, you don't lower the standard. You lower the difficulty of what you do inside those 2 minutes. That's the difference between a standard and a task. A standard is fixed. A task is adjustable. Most people reverse that. They keep the task rigid and the standard negotiable, and then they wonder why they can't stay consistent. This is why I don't ask you to share what you did. Sharing can be enjoyable, a way to build relationships with others on the same journey, but it can also become performance. Self-control is personal. It's doing the work for your reasons, not for attention or reassurance. To be clear, I'm not saying don't share. But if sharing becomes a hurdle, if the act of posting turns into an obstacle, then it needs to be made simpler. So the posting format is simple by design. It includes the number of days you've been consistent with your standard, your level, and your ACT score. That's it. After your first 7-day streak at level 1, you earn the right to add your scope of effort. Crawl, walk, run, or fly. But even then, you don't need to list your full workout. The point is to track consistency cleanly, not to build a highlight reel. Some people ask, what if someone cheats? If someone posts fake metrics, they are only cheating themselves. The structure doesn't care. The system doesn't bend. The consequence is internal, not external. And this is where my tone comes in. My interaction style can feel detached, objective, rule-based, almost like I'm speaking as the environment itself. Again, that's intentional. I'm not there to be the emotional center of your journey. I'm there to maintain the integrity of the structure you're training inside. Because if I soften the structure, I weaken the lesson. If I coddle you, I rob you of the very thing you go there to build. If I make the environment bend to your feelings, I teach you the wrong truth about how to operate with excellence, whatever the circumstance. I want you to succeed, but I want you to succeed in a way that survives outside this micro reality. So I protect the structure. I maintain the boundaries. I keep the environment stable because the structure is what trains you, not my encouragement. Escape School is not where the real work happens. The ACT Score Challenge doesn't build your body, your discipline, or your identity. You do that in the real world, in your actual life, under real conditions, with real consequences. Escape School is simply where you record the truth of what happened. It's the ledger, the mirror, the place where your choices become visible. That's why the structure is so clean. The rules are so simple, and the boundaries don't bend. The micro-reality strips away everything that normally confuses you. Motivation, mood, memory, justification, performance. So you can finally see the one thing that matters. Did you honor the standard you set for yourself? Not the standard I set. Not the standard the group might applaud. Not the standard that feels impressive or convenient. Yours. Because the real world is full of complexity. Unpredictable days, shifting demands, emotional turbulence, and circumstances you can't control. Escape School removes all of that noise so you can practice the one skill that applies in every environment, self-control. And you practice that under simple, stable conditions. Escape School is artificial, but the personal development is real. The skill you build there transfers because the skill is yours, and the impact is happening out there in your life. Escape School is the structure. The ACT Score Challenge is the training ground. But the life you build with the skill you develop there, that is entirely, undeniably, and permanently your own. If you're ready to train self-control inside a clean, simple micro-reality, start your day one in the ACT Score Challenge. That's it for today. Catch you next time.